doing this the whole time.
I'm Johnny Young Bosch. If you don't know who I am, I was, well, you know who I am. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. The rest of those guys, what's wrong with those people? Well, I was a Power Ranger, yes. Walter was the original Black Ranger, then I took his place, and then I became green, and then back to black, and all that good stuff. And, are you turning me down? Did you turn me down? Is there a weird thing going on here? Check, there we go, yeah.
Sorry about that.
I like to hear my voice.
Sorry.
I just like to know that I'm actually making any noise. Let's just do some questions, and then I'll answer them, and that would probably be right, I think, for this. Hey, how many of you guys know that I have a band, by the way? Okay, so we're playing tomorrow night, sometime, 8-ish, I think, and then 8:30. Okay, and then I'm glad you know. And then we've got a musical Q&A on Sunday where you ask us questions and then we sing back the answers. We make it a song somehow. It's Morphin time! Oh yeah, see? Wake up. Alright. Now is that somebody's text or somebody just being... Okay, alright. So, questions. Let's do some questions. This, I think, the panel is called... Do you know what it's called?
Bleach Ranger?
Bleach Ranger, okay, so mine is more from Bleach Ranger. So, I mean, you can ask me whatever. I think that was it. They asked for like something, the title, and I was like, oh, this? So anyways, you can ask whatever, anime or Power Ranger related questions right now. But obviously there's going to be Power Ranger panels with all the guys, and I don't know if I'll be able to talk at those because everybody's going to say something. So, any questions to start us off? No? Okay, thanks for coming, guys. Yes?
You work with One-Eyed Dog yet?
One-Eyed Dog?
Yes.
You know, every time I see her, we were like, we gotta do something else, but we haven't really kind of set that up yet. I definitely would like to work with One-Eyed Dog again. She's really, really good and awesome. She's a cool person. Fun to work with. And really creative, too, you know? And so, I mean, I did with that one song, Tearing Away, because she actually had me come sing on one of her albums. And then I was like, oh, I kind of have a song maybe. And I just kind of made up a song when we were there at her studio house. And then we just laid down tracks. It was pretty cool. But I don't really know. I mean, I hope that we can do something else. Another question? Yes?
I heard that Funimation licensed the Tales of the Abyss anime.
Did they?
I read it somewhere, but you know the internet.
All right.
If they did, would you come back to Voice Guy?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I would definitely do that. And Funimation's pretty good about that sort of thing too, you know. If it's an important show. I mean, they do have somebody that sounds like me. If you haven't noticed. You probably don't. You probably show up with like Soul Eater and be like, here's Shyness. I'm like, that's not me. But yeah, they have somebody that sounds like me, so if like for some reason I can't do it or whatever, then yeah, they'll just have that guy do it. Yes?
Do you have any recent projects you're excited to talk about that you can actually talk
That
about?
I can actually talk about? Tenkai Nights is a new show. It's a kids show though. It's a Cartoon Network. It airs tomorrow. It's like Saturday, Sunday, 7:30 a.m. There's a ton of voice actors in it that you guys might know: Crispin Freeman, Steve Bloom, Todd Havercorn, Bryce Patrick Brooks in it, Ben Diskin, and myself. But there's quite a few people in it. It's like a. When I first saw it, my first thought was like, oh cool, Lego's Gundam Power Rangers. Really is kind of what it kind of feels like. But it's cool. It's cool. It's like little Legos, and then actually when the toys come out, it's gonna be kind of cool because then you can like make them into things. I don't know. I like Legos. Well, I guess now I can't say I like Legos now. I like the other version. Okay, next. All right, never mind. Let's move on. Next question. There you go. Why don't you just ask some of your questions right now?
If they animated Power Rangers,
If they animated Power Rangers, would I voice? Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, definitely want to do that. I did actually do some stuff. Actually, I'm not sure if I can talk about it.
Well, you know, we can close the doors if you want, so you can.
A lot of them, they're not even paying attention. What are you guys in line for? Never mind. What is that line for? Is that registration? Oh. So anyways. All right, what do you guys want to hear? A story or something? I guess I could tell you a story, because I don't know if I'll... All right, so I was here a couple of years ago. You guys want to hear an embarrassing story? Of course, right? How many of you guys have heard the homeless woman story with the bag of quarters? No? You, one person. You think? You're not really sure? Okay, well, I'm going to tell it, and if you recall it, don't say anything. Or just act like, whoa, I've never heard that before. So everyone else will maybe be able to enjoy it. Anyways, all right, so I was working on Bleach. I was coming home. When I exit the freeway, you guys know how there's like an off-ramp, and then there'd be like a stoplight or whatever. Anyhow, so I'd usually exit that off-ramp, there's a stoplight there, and I would turn left under the overpass and go home. But there was always like a homeless guy standing on the corner there. You guys have homeless people standing on the corner, by the light or whatever, and I'm in my car. And I never really do anything because it's like, I'm in my car, it's just weird, I don't know what to do. And so I usually just act like I'm listening to the radio or something, which is very douchebaggy of me, but anyways, that's what I did. But there's always a homeless guy there. This one day I exited the freeway, there's like 4 or 5 cars in front of me, there's a red light, and I'm scarfing down these carrots I had in a Ziploc bag left over from lunch, and this monster truck pulls up behind me, and all I can see is the tinted windows. And so I can't see the person inside it, but it just feels like an angry man, or monster trucks, and I felt the pressure of if I don't go as soon as it changes green, this guy's gonna run us all over, or try to jump us or something, I don't know. I just felt weird pressure, like I needed to move out of his way, her way, I don't know who was in it, but anyways, that's what I felt. And as I'm sitting there scarfing down my carrots and looking at this guy thinking, okay, it's gonna change, I look over expecting to see a homeless man, I see a homeless woman there. And I'm from Texas, and I kind of my heart went out to her, I guess, and I was like, I feel bad, I should help her out, Usually guys there, I'm just like, get a job, but at the moment I was like, I should help her out. And in LA, if you've been to Los Angeles, you have to pay for parking everywhere, it's really kind of lame. And so I have my cup holders, are just full of quarters. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna have a Ziploc bag and just scoop up all these quarters, I'm gonna put it in the Ziploc bag and I'm gonna give it to her, And so I do that, I scoop them all up and I'm like, whoa, this is heavy, this is like 2 pounds worth of quarters, this is gonna really be good for her. And I roll down the window and I put my hand out like that, and again, she's like 4 or 5 cars in front of me, so she's a pretty good distance away from me, and I hold my hand out, and she sees me, she has her sign, and she's like, oh, she puts it down, and she goes like this. And I'm like, what? I'm not gonna get out of the car and come to you. You gotta come to me. Isn't that how it works? I've never done this before, but I'm pretty sure you have to come to me because I'm in a car. It's weird. So I was like, I don't know, what is this? What's going on here? And as I'm thinking, this doesn't work unless you run over to me really quick. But the light changed green, and these cars in front of me, they just took off, And me feeling the pressure of the monster truck behind me, I did kind of the same thing. I was just like, whoa, I don't want to get hit, and my hand is out the window like this, and I'm driving, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, I'm going 20 or 30 miles an hour. How's this exchange going to happen now, She's not a football player, I can't just and just get her in the gut, And I'm thinking all this, I start panicking like a weirdo, and I'm like, what if she holds on to me too long and pulls me out of the car and I die? What if I don't let go of the bag soon enough to drag her under my car and run her over? And so I'm freaking out, and then in an instant, I'm like, well, Johnny, you're a martial artist. All you need to do is focus. It's all about the timing, And as she's approaching me at 20 or 30 miles an hour, I'm like, all I have to do is flick my wrist up just like that, and I'll watch it gracefully land into her hands, right? And so I'm going, and I'm like, and now. And I do this, I flick my wrist up. And whenever tragedy is about to happen, time slows down. And I go like this, I'm like, and it's like God's like, oh, wait a minute, this is going to be good. Slow this down. I was like, this is going to be good. And then, so I watch, right? As this 2-pound bag of quarters flies from my hand. 2 pounds worth of quarters in a Ziploc bag. 20, 30 miles an hour, flying in the air. Smacks her in the face. The bag rips open, and I just see shiny quarters sparkling as they're falling down. This is it really was slow-mo to me. everything. Even like as I'm going by, my windows down, I'm like, no, like really, like I felt like the biggest douchebag in the world. And it's like her face was like, oh yeah, I'm getting quarters, no. And her face did the whole like kind of thing, right? And I could feel like she just felt like I was like, die, homeless person. Anyhow, and I couldn't slow down and stop because it was green light, so I just screeched around the corner. It was like weird area, intersection, freeway. I couldn't come back and see if she was okay, so I just kept going. Just kept driving. And I'm like, no, why did that happen? Why did that happen? This is a true story, guys. I'm sure the truck driver behind me, the monster truck, was like, what a douchebag. Slow down, dude. Get out of your car and hand it to him. Anyhow, that was a bad day for me. And I remember, like, before that day, totally true story, before that day, there was always a homeless person there. After that day, never again. Never again. This is the truth. I think that they talk to each other, the homeless people. You know what happened to Sally? She's dead! Some guy killed her with quarters. Yeah, it was pretty bad. There's a white cross there now. That part I added. There is. Well, there is, but it came much later. So I don't think it was me. But I drive by there every time, and I'm always hoping to see her, but kind of not at the same time, because what if she recognizes me? And then throws quarters back at me or something? That would be pretty bad. Anyways, that's that story. You guys have any questions? Yes.
When it comes to anime, would you rather play a good guy or a bad guy?
I don't know. I prefer. I mean, if it's a good show, it doesn't matter to me. You know, bad guys are a lot of fun. Sometimes though, when you get a good guy, he's very kind of just lame. You know, he's like, oh, he's just good because he's good. He's got a medallion that makes him special. You know, it controls the mech. You know, or opens the animal spirit inside him. And so I don't know. You know, sometimes it gets kind of like jaded, I guess, and trite. But bad guys are obviously different from that. But you know, it depends really on the show, because sometimes you get some good emotional stuff in it, and it's a lot of fun. So I guess for me, it's just more about like playing a fun character or being on a good show. I could tell you another story if you guys want. Like all my stories are of me like stupid stuff. Like me just, I don't know, somehow I just end up doing dumb things. After this, you guys are going to be like, Johnny's an idiot. He's an idiot. Alright, so here's another story. Okay, so I'm walking in this parking lot with my wife, before she was my wife, and she's, you know, teasing me, saying, I'm taller than you, and she's got her hair up. I'm like, oh, you got your hair up, what are you talking about? She's like, I'm taller. I was like, I'm taller. She doesn't talk that way, I'm making her sound like Harry or whatever, but she sounds much smarter, but not like that, that's like a guy. But anyway, she pulls me over to this van. You know, on the side of the van has that big window, right? And it's tinted so we can see ourselves pretty good. It's a bright sunny day, so it was almost like a mirror. And so we're standing side by side and we're joking, you know, poking each other, pointing at our pictures. She's like, I'm taller than you, look. I'm like, no, what are you talking about? You get your hair up. She's like, oh, but you got spikes. And we're pushing each other, pointing, laughing, pointing, laughing, joking. For like 5 minutes, we're having a good time looking at our reflection. And you guys know those 3D posters where you stare at them a long time, then you can see like dolphins or something swimming in the water? Well, we're staring at this for quite a while, and I'm like, oh wait, I can see like eyes. I'm like, wait, I see like a woman's face in there. I'm like, oh my God, there's a woman in there. We've been pointing at this and laughing. She's been sitting there the whole time looking at us. And as I keep looking and I look down, and she's breastfeeding her child. So we've been standing there like laughing and like what's going on in her mind, you know? Like, what's lady up on it? Look at that, you know? And then so I drag her away and then I'm like, let's go, come on. She's like, what's wrong? It's like, there's a woman in there breastfeeding her child. And then, of course, the lady runs out like, just comes out of her car, gets into her van and drives away. That was embarrassing. It was a church parking lot, by the way. It's like, not good. We were just weird perverts, I guess. That's gross. All right, any questions? Before I feel like a total douchebag, yes.
What was the weirdest experience you've ever had with any other voice actor?
With what?
Any other voice actor.
With any other voice actor? A
Yeah.
weird experience? I don't know if I've had like a weird experience with any other voice actor. I can tell you a story about me being in the booth, voice acting. Okay, I'll tell it. So anyways, have you guys seen Wolf's Rain? Yes! Yeah, one of my favorite shows that I've worked on. If I didn't work on it, I still think it's a great show. But anyhow, this one day, I usually try to show up early, but this one day I was running late, so I didn't even eat breakfast. It was early in the morning, and I get over to the studio, and I'm working on Wolf's Rain, and so I didn't eat anything, so my stomach, I could feel it's like starting to, like, it's gonna start growling, right? And I'm gonna be in the booth, and all they hear is like anything, right? You can't do anything, you're gonna hear it all. And so, some of you guys probably know this, but you take water, right? If you feel like it's gonna start growling, you just drink some water and it kind of shuts it up, right? I'm the only one that does that? Okay, but well anyways, you guys don't have some growling problems? Okay, anyways, but like my stomach would growl, and in my mind I picture like this growling monster that's like, I'm gonna growl, and then I pour water on him, he's like, oh, you know? And so that's what it felt like every time I could feel like it was gonna go, I just drink some water, you know, and then I'd record the line, and it was working for a while, you know, none of the growls were getting out, so it wasn't embarrassing. You guys know when you're like in school and it's like test time or quiz time, your stomach's growling, it's like super embarrassing, you're like shuffling papers, or, you know, moving some stuff. You kicking yourself, it's hard. I don't know, I'm just, uncomfortable or something. You're just trying to like work out the little growls so no one can hear it. You can't do that in the booth because they do hear everything. Anyhow, I'm working this thing out, I drink of water to shut it up so it doesn't make any noise. In this one moment, right before I have this line, I have to say, my stomach doesn't make a so where it was like obvious to the stomach. It went. Like it sounded like I thought I could squeeze out a silent fart, but my butt cheeks were denying the passage, you know, like made it go like that, like how about this for a fart noise? And so I was like, holy crap, how did my stomach do that? What's going on there? It pissed the monster off. And I could just feel them like looking at me through the window, like. And I was like, how am I gonna explain this? You know, and I look over, I'm like, that wasn't a fart. That was like my stomach. I don't know. Just do that. And they're like, oh. Come in here. You can smell it. It smells fine. It smells fresh. Food. You know. And they didn't believe me. Thought I farted in there. Anyhow, that's kind of a weird story, but it doesn't really involve anyone else. But my stomach and me. We get along now, though. I usually feed him beforehand. Any other questions? Yes?
What was the strangest thing that ever happened to you while you were on set?
Strangest thing while on set? Gosh. I don't know if there are any really super strange things that I can think of. You guys could probably talk about this. I know, I think around it was either Zeo or Turbo season of Power Rangers. They would hide a rubber chicken, like the grips. They would hide a rubber chicken like everywhere, like for each episode. There'd either be a shadow up on the wall, it would fall out of Rocky's locker. I can't think of anything that happened, you know, like on set, other than, you know, people farting, but that's not really that weird. It's just stinky. Yeah, I can't think of anything really specific weird. Oh, I can tell you a story. Here's another story. Me being stupid. So, and it's my own fault. But anyways, I was working on this game called Wild Arms 4. So I had the character, and then I had some other miscellaneous characters I had to play. And one was this monster. They gave me the sheet, right? And it's like, you know, like a baby chicken, but like with a super large head. And they're like, yeah, so just come up with a voice for that. And it's like, what? What does that even sound like? You know, like, right? And so I started doing that. I was like, how am I going to talk? You know, so I was like, hello, I'm going to talk like this. You know, and so that was the voice I chose. And they're like, okay, perfect. Sounds like a giant chicken head monster. And, but that voice stuck with me. Because usually I just use my regular voice, my little kid voice, you know, and I don't really do too many character voices. And so for whatever reason, that one stuck with me. And so everywhere I went, I was like, hello, my name is Harry Bush. You know, I talked with this weird voice. And I was working on this pilot, this film, or episode of the TV show that never took off. But And I was playing the lead, and he's introducing me, the director's introducing me to like a bunch of the other actors and the crew. I'm going around like this, like, I'm a little person all over, and I'm just talking, I'm a monster, just being stupid for whatever reason. And then he's like, oh, right here, behind me, and I'm like, hello, and there is a little person there. And he's like, hello, Mr. Mouse. I was like, it's just this monster thing. It's like this little chicken monster person I was doing. He's like, it's okay, everybody does it. I was like, no, I wasn't making fun of you. No. Yeah, that's my life. That's what I do. I do that all the time, guys. Open mouth, insert foot. So many guys talk like that here. They're just waiting for somebody to start crying or walking out. I watch you guys, little by little, I lose another person. Yeah, that was dumb, okay. Anyways, and yes.
Who is your favorite character to voice and why?
Favorite character to voice? I like a lot of them. Ichigo's a lot of fun. Nero from Devil May Cry 4 is one of my favorites because I got to just make him up. I didn't have to like match the tone of a Japanese actor or match flaps or the animation. I could just do whatever I wanted to, so that was a lot of fun. Keelan Wolfstrain was fun. Kaneda Nakira. A few shows that never got picked up. There's a lot actually. I like Klaus and Last Exile. Renton was fun. It was really tough in the beginning. Lelouch, Code Geass, Isaiah. Some of the bad guys are fun to play. I remember doing sessions for like Bleach. Bleach, if I'm having a stressful day and I go in and I record some Bleach, afterwards I feel great. Because, I'm like, oh, I'm stressed out, and I go in there and I fight a bunch of monsters, I scream and yell and stuff, and then I come out and I'm like, ah. But like Code Geass, it's like I would be having a great day and I go in there and I walk away like, wow. I just killed my sister or whatever, It's like, gross inside or something. Yeah, it's kind of weird. That's what bad guy characters do to you. Fate Stay Night Zero, whatever it's called. I just did that one, and that guy is like a creepo. Kills little kids and stuff. It's terrible. It's good anime, I guess. Ninja! 1. It's the wrong color, man. What? It's a girl, okay. Ninjas have no sex. They can be either, they are just ninja. And vanish. No, okay. Any other questions, yes? Try again. Well, first off, Trigon was the first voiceover role that I did, and that was like after Power Rangers sometime, right? And it's probably around when I had stopped working on Power Rangers and was like, I need a job, and then I got lucky with that one. But, and then coming back and doing the movie, it was like years later, like so long, yeah, but it was weird. I actually had to go watch it so I could remember what I did there, and I was like, oh, this sounds so weird. But it was fun. It was fun. I did have a good time. It was kind of like when I did Power Rangers and I went back 13 years later for Overdrive, It was kind of the same thing. It was like a weird, I'm here. Older. Smarter. Wiser is the thing I like to say, but it's not true. But it's fun. It's cool. It's got like that. I remember, I don't know why I'm continually talking about this because I have a mic, but like Power Rangers it's so retro now. It's kind of cool now. It's like a hot topic. But like when I had after the show ended for me, it was not cool. Anywhere I'd go, I was like, Power Rangers. I couldn't get a job. It was really tough for me to get a job. And not just because of Power Rangers, but because I'm half Asian. And so I couldn't really, a lot of roles at that time were really just Caucasian, or I could be like an Asian if I looked Asian, but I don't really look full on Asian, My eyes aren't like this, they're like that. So it's kind of weird, I have to go around like this. But it didn't work, only in the sun. No, it was really tough for me to get a job. And actually, that's where I picked up the guitar. I started teaching myself to play the guitar. I was in kind of a depression, a little funk, and that brought me out of it, writing songs and singing. And that's when I actually was like, you know what, if I can do this same thing for other people, that would be pretty cool. And so I started a band, and that's basically the same time I started the band, and it's been going since. You guys should check us out, it should be fun. It might not be, it could suck. It could. But, and then if but you should go, because it should be interesting at least. And then the musical Q&A is always fun, because you can ask questions, whatever the question is, and then we'll just improv the answer back to you, and it's usually pretty dumb, but likable. You have a Captain America shirt on? Yes. Yeah. Okay, I like to interrupt myself. Questions? Yes?
This is a two-party question, actually.
No, just one, please. The second one. I'm just kidding.
Wait, still two questions?
Yeah, no, you can't. I'm not really a douchebag.
Okay, these both tie in. One, do you watch anime? And two, if you do, what was the weirdest anime you've ever seen?
Yeah, I do watch anime. The weirdest anime I've seen? I don't know. I don't know what the weirdest one I've seen is. I think the one that first shocked me was Ninja Scroll, the movie, Just because, I was like, ninjas, and then it's like, these guys having sex and talking at the same time, what? And then it got, it had like moments of like, really? But it was a cool film. I didn't see the series though, because I heard it wasn't as good. But, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust was pretty cool. The only one that I worked on that was like a little like, was Dokuro-chan. When they said, we got a show that we want you to play, but we need to talk to you first. I was like, what? Talk to me first? And then they were like, so there's some questionable things, and I was like, if it's hentai, I don't want to do it. And they're like, well, no, it's not hentai, but there's some things in there. And I was like, well, it should be fine if it's not hentai. And then she's like, oh, okay. And then, who's seen it? Okay, so yeah, there's like a couple moments in there where I was, it's like, wait, is this like a dog? What's happening to him and the dog? And then there's like the moment where, if any of you've seen it, you'll maybe know what I'm talking about. But there's a moment where there's an octopus that comes out. I think you'd know even if you didn't. And I was like, wait, is that an octopus? Did he just get raped by an octopus? Okay. It's a funny show though. It's really kind of goofy, but it had its moments like that were questionable, hentai-ish. Questions? Yes.
Back when you were working on Power Rangers, were there any moments when y'all were doing any of the combat scenes where you actually hit each other full on?
Oh yeah, there are plenty of contact in Power Rangers when you hit somebody. I remember actually, I was working, this is actually after Power Rangers, but I did a film with the stunt guys, and I was doing a kick where he was charging towards me and jumping in the air, and I had to like jump up in the air and then kind of kick down, so that I would hit him in the chest, but I didn't kick down, and instead I kicked up, and I knocked him right in the face. I kicked him right in the face, and he got like a big bruise. It looked pretty bad. But then after that, then all the stunt guys were like, okay, Johnny has to hit us each in the face once in the movie. And so I got to kick and punch people in the face for like real. It was kind of fun. But the stunt guys were crazy, And I don't know, maybe it's because of Power Rangers, we didn't really get to do any headshots, really. It was all just, hit them in the chest and then they spark or explode or something. That does happen though when I punch people. They do spark and explode. And I usually there's usually like a big black cloud of smoke right before I enter a frame anywhere. You missed it earlier, that's how I walked through the doors. It's like, I walked in like that. You didn't see it? Too bad. Any questions? Yes.
What's like the weirdest or the funniest experience you've ever had with involving a fan at a convention?
Weirdest, funniest with a fan at a convention. You guys, well, I don't know what this weird is. You guys know Trigun. Some of you know Trigun. Well, he really likes donuts. This lady brought me donuts. And you know, and I don't mind donuts, but like, you know, someone had that cellophane plastic clear thing where you could see through and see the donuts. And so she had already opened the donuts and had already eaten half of them. And there's even one that's like had a bite in it. But it was like closed, you know, and she was like, here you go. And she gave it to me, and she slid it over, you know, the cellophane thing, I could see inside it. I was like, my first thought was like, oh, you ate some of those. And then I was like, wait, it's like sweaty on the inside of that thing. Like I could see the dew or whatever, humidity, just like, you know, dripping off of the plastic cellophane. And as she stood there, I was like, have one. I was like, no, I don't. I'm really full. She's like, come on, Vash. And she opens it up, and I could see like the sweat drops falling on the donuts, and I was like, oh, I really can't right now. It was kind of weird story, but yeah. So if you bring me donuts, make sure they're not half-eaten sweaty ones. And I might eat it. But yeah, it was awkward to try to get out of that. Yes, somebody else? Yes? What was that? Why no return? They didn't invite me. That's why no return. Yeah, they got everybody's contact, but yeah, there was no officially saying, "Hey, Johnny, would you like to come?" There's no asking. Yeah, I think most of us were up for it. You know, it's just a matter of hearing if they wanted us and then what the terms were. But yeah, I was down to do it. But no. Any questions? Yes.
At this point in your career, do you prefer doing live action or do you more enjoy doing voiceovers and voice acting?
It's tough. I like them both. The thing about voice acting is you don't have to like dress up. You don't have to wear makeup. You just go show up in your pajamas and work. You know, sometimes I get to work from home, which is really awesome. You know, I did a couple auditions on my phone just today. So that's kind of nice, but it is also really cool to be able to give your entire self to the character, because then you're not just, it's not just voice, but it's everything, your face, it's all of it, you know. So that is a lot of fun too. It just kind of depends, really. I don't know if I really have a preference one or the other. I do enjoy both. Questions? Yes.